Good morning, and welcome to our Heritage University Fall Student Convocation. My name is Curt Guaglianone, and I am the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. As you may be aware, a convocation is a group of people formally assembled for a special purpose. The purpose of this gathering is for faculty, staff, administration, and special guests to gather in honor of you, our students, to celebrate your current and future success and to welcome in the academic year. This year, in order to welcome our new school year, we are starting a new heritage tradition. We have combined the Fall Student Convocation with recognition of the past spring semester's Dean's List recipients, that's all of you, and the recognition of our new emeriti faculty at Heritage University. So welcome and thank you for making this a great day of heritage. I would ask you all to stand now as we begin our celebration, and we ask Reverend Hackert to come to give the invitation. Reverend Hackert is our Director of Spirituality.
Let us pray. Creator God, we are here before you as the university community in this landscape, and we acknowledge that we are guests of an ancient people and guests of an even more ancient God. Some of us have lived here all of our lives, trace our roots back through time immemorial, our identity intricately woven together with the rivers and mountains and vast open sky. Others of us are brand new here, coming from far away on a journey of discovery to find ourselves in a strange and new place. But all of us, in this vocation of learning that we have undertaken, are here at a threshold, like a guest at the door, like a traveler on a journey, depending on the hospitality of strangers. Here many paths cross. May we celebrate and revel in the diversity of this intersection, this borderland, where we have so much new to experience and learn. We thank you, Creator, that we bring all the strength of deep roots from our past to bear on a future that is unfolding before us as we embrace this moment. May we do just that, Creator. May we embrace this moment, this threshold of our lives. I pray that each of us may be filled with a deep sense of our calling to embrace this journey of education, and that we may be strengthened with all good gifts and provisions for the trip. May we have a deep sense of belonging to this, our mutual learning community. May we be empowered and equipped, mastering all the skills we need to work to walk the path we are called to walk. May we know our connectedness and interdependence to one another and all of creation, especially when we are feeling overwhelmed and all alone. May we know that the ultimate goal of our lives is to be filled with a spirit of generosity for all people, especially as we are tempted to think only of ourselves. May all our lives be lived for the common good, for the next generation, for the most vulnerable among us, and for the earth and sky within which we have our being. May we embrace this threshold of our lives. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Celestino Limas. I have the pleasure of serving as a new member of this community as the Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment. And I would like to ask our Student Government Association, or SGA President Javier Morin, to come give you a welcome.
On beat.
behalf of the student body, I would like to welcome you all as we celebrate student academic success at Heritage University. I am extremely humbled to represent the student body, and each and every one of you should be proud to be sitting where you are today, because you deserve it. And it's through your perseverance that you have found success. So remember these moments as you continue to flourish throughout your years here at Heritage. Also, remember the importance of having a strong support system. I know firsthand that I wouldn't be standing here in front of you all today without the support of my family, peers, and the invaluable staff and faculty here on campus. And it's a true blessing how accessible they are. So I encourage you all to take advantage of these knowledgeable people and resources and grow from them. Now this time, if we could please face the flag in the front of the campus and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this is a really exciting time to be here at Heritage. New things are going on, new programs are starting, new students are arriving. But today is about you, our students that have really worked so hard to perform in the classroom and do well outside of the classroom, to connect your studies to your lives. This is something that we want to sort of make beginning pathway in terms of how you actually read what you learn outside of the classroom. Because you are the leaders that are going to carry forth not just our traditions here on campus, but you are going to lead it up in the years to come. And you are currently leading on campus, and we really are grateful to you for all that you do for us. What I'd like to do now is invite our leader, our servant, our colleague, President John Bassett, to his remarks. President Bassett.
Welcome. Good morning. Congratulations to our students. I always feel that Convocation and Heritage should begin with an acknowledgement of our founding president, Sister Kathleen Ross. Kathleen, I'd like to acknowledge you and for all you've done for Heritage. And as the provost said, we're going to honor students today. We're also going to honor faculty today. We're going to honor 4 faculty in person, as well as others that can't be here, that are adopting an emeritite title. But for me, this is really a time to honor their teaching. We're here to honor students for their learning, and we're here to honor teachers, not simply for their teaching, but for how they empower students to learn. Because every great teacher knows it's not about the teaching, it's about the learning. It's about the students learning. And we have some wonderful faculty currently here, and we've had wonderful faculty in the past. They've been dedicated to their students, and mostly they've been dedicated to their students' learning. I'm just going to take a couple minutes to think about some of the people that are here with us physically today. I remember arriving and hearing stories my first year, 5 years ago, about Pam Root having driven all the way from here to Omak to teach students over and over again up there. I mean, that for me was 230 miles, something like that, each way. Talk about dedication. And I thought, my goodness, I have come to a place where the faculty are totally dedicated to their students. I think about the many times I saw Carolyn Nelson working with faculty at all hours of the day and night. Some of them very gifted students, some of them I don't think they could ever get anything out of that piece of clay, but she was going to make it happen if anybody could. I think of Kathy Hardison developing such wonderful relationships, even in my time here, with Big Bend Community College, a grant up there, a new program up there, and a commitment to students both in the Valley and outside of the Valley in education. And Bertha Ortega I think it's possible, she may have been here longer than you, Kathleen, I don't know. But Bertha's commitment to our students here goes way back, and even after retirement, she said, no, I want to keep teaching Spanish. And she kept coming back, even in retirement, still here, teaching students Spanish. So I think it appropriate that we honor our colleagues that have enabled student learning over the years. And I think we're very fortunate today to have as our speaker in Fall Convocation somebody who has been much honored not only as our local and state, but as the National Teacher of the Year. And I think he'd be the first one to say, it's not really about my teaching, it's about the student learning. It's about the student learning and the learning that's possible. Now we know that as the National Teacher of the Year, he had to spend an awful lot of time with people like President Obama and I don't know who else, and collected about 900,000 frequent flyer miles. I hope you read a lot of books on those airplanes. And he did all of that. But maybe what says the most about Jeff Charbonneau is that after all that, he is back here in the Valley. He's in Zella teaching science. He's in Zella so the students at Zella High School can keep learning science and they can keep learning about life. To me, that really says an awful lot. It means he really probably has heritage in his DNA. He doesn't know it yet. But that kind of commitment is a very heritage kind of commitment to students. And nobody illustrates it better than Jeff. He's a graduate, I think, as all of you know, of our friends at Central Washington University, also a very student-centered university we're always proud to collaborate with. He teaches chemistry, physics, engineering at Zella High School. He grew up in Zella, I think at least from the age of 10 or something like that, and he's back home again. I read a couple of quotes from him I like to use. That he recognizes that his students often see his course subjects as hard science classes. And he welcomes the opportunity to overturn the notion. It's not they're not hard, but they're fun. They're fun. Being hard isn't a stigma. Jeff does a million other things. He serves as the yearbook advisor, the drama assistant director, the science club advisor, the 9th grade advisor, and who knows what else. I think he's used his 13 years at Zella High School more than anything else to make a significant difference in the lives of those students. He says that when he was a child, he was taught that he could do anything he set his mind to do. And this has encouraged him to do what I think all of us that teach here at Heritage will learn, and the young people growing up in the Yakima Valley can do anything they set their mind to do. And we at Heritage here are committed to helping enable them to do anything they set their mind to do. As I heard our Vice President for Student Affairs say so eloquently about 3 weeks ago to the incoming students, you can do it, but we want a commitment from you that you'll work hard to do it. It isn't necessarily easy to achieve the goals you want to achieve for yourself, but we will help you make those possible, make your success possible. So, please join me. You're not here today to hear me speak. Join me in welcoming the 2013 National Teacher of the Year, the Valley's own Jeff Charbonneau.
I kind of want to meet this guy. I want to say I'm sorry at the very beginning because I come highly overrated. I don't think I can match up to that introduction. Thank you, Dr. Bassett. I appreciate it. You know, I've led an absolutely amazing life in my 37 years on this planet. And the reason why I teach is I want other people to experience the same. Now, I'm not here to tell you that my life's been perfect. It hasn't been all ponies and rainbows everywhere I go. It's not that my students come in ready, oh, great, we get to learn about quantum mechanics today. Okay? But I don't think any student has ever done that in my classes, ever. However, I do get to have a lot of fun in class. I do truly love what I do as a teacher. And I think that here at Heritage, the same thing happens with faculty members. I think they truly love what they get to do. If you haven't been an educator before, if you've never been a teacher before, there's really one reason why we do it. It's because we get to mess with your heads. Now, I'm not kidding. Now, you gotta understand, I teach chemistry, physics, and engineering, so you knew I had to bring a little bit of science into this. And so you all came here to hear me speak. But the strange part about that is that you're not actually hearing me speak when I'm speaking. Huh? You see, sound actually has a speed. So from the time that my lips move and the sound wave leaves my lips, it takes time to get to your ears. It takes time for your brain to process that information. And then it takes time for your brain to tell you, whoever you are up in there, what you're hearing. Which means you never actually heard me speak now, you only heard me speak then. Have I messed with your brain yet? Oh, it gets better. You see, you think that you see me right now, but you don't see me now either. You see, light has a speed to it. It's 3.0 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. And so it takes time for the light to shine off of this face. And make it back to your brain for your eyes to see what it is that you're seeing and tell your brain, wow. Sorry, that's going to be in your head for a while. That's what teachers do. We mess with your heads. We get inside your brains so that the next time that you're going somewhere, you're walking down the road, I want you to think about how you're actually not seeing the present, you're seeing the past. And what sort of implications does that have in scientific experiments? What sort of implications does that have when you start talking about really fast-moving objects or really slow-moving objects? Does that change the way that you see the world? That's what education is. Education is about making you think differently, about making you see things differently. And what's absolutely amazing about the time that we live in right now is that you can learn anything you want to. There's this amazing website, maybe you've heard of it, it's called Google. I maybe pronounced it wrong, I'm not sure. The information highway is so amazing now, you can go out and learn anything that you want. You can download it off of YouTube, you can find it on TeacherTube, you can find it in so many places. The question that I have for you is, will you? You see, I've gone around the country the last 2 years. I've been in 37 different states, I've been in 7 different countries. I literally have about 900,000 frequent flyer miles. I sit a lot on airplanes, okay? I've gone all these places. People keep asking me the same question over and over and over again. How do you do all the things that you do? And my answer is pretty simple. I have no idea. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. We're all just making it up as we go. We really are. The difference is that we decide to do it. You know, Zillow doesn't have all these amazing resources. We don't have all this amazing money raining down from the sky and all the rest of the stuff, and yet we do it. Heritage doesn't have this magic pot of gold unless you're holding out on me. They don't have all these amazing resources, and yet they decided to do it. Look at this room. Look at the people that are assembled here today. They decided that they wanted to go get a degree. They decided that they wanted to make a difference in their lives. That's the difference in life, guys. The difference in life is having all the tools and resources and then deciding to do something about it. So the big question that I have for you today is, what decisions are you going to make? As I come around, some people keep asking me, yeah, but how do you do this? How do you find the time to do all these things? Because I don't have more time than you do. Some of you younger ones, I have way less time than you do. Okay? I've used up a lot of it. Okay? All of us have the same amount of time. It is absolutely 100% a lie for you to tell somebody else, I don't have the time to do that. That's a lie. You do have the time to do it. Now, it may be true that you've chosen to do something else instead. That you have prioritized something else instead. And so if you reply to somebody, I'm going to choose not to do that thing. Not because I don't have the time to do it, because I do have the time, but I'm going to choose not to. I'm okay with that, if that's the choice you make. So this year, in this academic year, what decisions are you going to make to propel yourself forward? And I'm not just talking to the students here. Because it's an absolute fallacy to say that the students are the only ones that learn anything. Because I'll tell you what, I don't know hardly anything at all. I got a lot to learn in my job, and I know the faculty members over here, every one of you would agree. You've learned so much, you now know you really don't know anything at all, right? Because every time you learn something new, 100 more questions pop in, right? So faculty members, what are you going to do this year? What decisions are you going to make to propel yourself forward? All those naysayers that say this program shouldn't be happening and that program shouldn't be happening, every time that you get a no from somebody else to grow your program, I want you to turn around and tell them why their no is inappropriate. Tell them why sorry, John. He is never going to invite me back. I want you to tell them why the no is inappropriate, and why you can move forward, and why your idea is a good one. And then students, I want you to push your advisors and your faculty members even farther. If they're going too slow for you, I want you to go up to them and tell them to put on the gas pedal. I want you to tell them to go farther and dig deeper, because we all only have the same amount of time, and we got to decide how we use it. And parents and community supporters that are in the room, I want you to do the same thing. Boy, how amazing would it be for our younger students to be teaching their parents the same things that they're learning while at home? How amazing would it be to share that information with others? How incredible would it be if every single person in this room decided they were going to start a blog or start online resources and start sharing that information with other people? My goodness, the impact you can make in this room is amazing if you simply decide to do it. And I have to tell you, it's not that hard when you make that decision. Because when you make that decision, you fall in love with your projects. You fall in love with your ideas. This is my 15th year in education. I haven't worked in education a year in my life because I love what I do. I chose to come back to Zilla. I chose to come back to the Yakima Valley because it's an amazing place. It's not perfect. There is so much more work for us to do, but there's work to be done. Right? So what decisions will you make this year? How will you change not only your future, but the future for other people? You know that amazing moment for the teacher when I'm up there and I'm teaching my students about how they can't even see me or hear me, and their brain switches? I want that feeling. I want to see that again. I want to see a student light up for the first time and have their world changed. You know how addictive that is to a teacher? It's unbelievable. It's way better than caffeine. It's awesome. So here's my challenge to you. Make that decision, make that choice to ignite in somebody else that passion. Because if you do that, you're never going to work another day in your life. You're only going to have fun doing it. It won't be rainbows and ponies, but you will enjoy it. But why? Do we do it just to pass the time? Do we do it just to pass the hour? Or do we do it for something so much more important than that? My daughter started kindergarten this year. Yeah, she's a cute kindergartner too. She's the type of cute kindergartner that it's really hard for me to get her in a timeout. Why? Because she does this. It's way cuter when she does it. She's got me wrapped around her finger, she really does. She started kindergarten this year. I don't have the time to let school stagnate. She's in school right now, and I have to help her now. I have to help the high school get better, I have to help the middle school get better, I have to help the intermediate school better, I have to help all these schools get better. We've got to get Heritage even better than it is now because she's in kindergarten. And it's going to be like this, and she's going to be asking me for the car keys. And it's going to be like that, she's going to be looking at a university to attend. And more importantly, it's going to be like that, she's going to be marrying somebody. I don't get to pick who that somebody is. We have to do our job because somebody's going to marry my daughter. I have no choice in who that is. Every single one of you I'm holding personally accountable. Whether she goes to Heritage or not, whether she comes over to Toppenish or not, you have to be so good at what you do and inspiring the next generations of doctors and nurses and pediatricians and educators that all the other universities around here notice and all of their games get elevated. You have to be so good at your jobs so that one day you pay into Social Security and I have the opportunity to retire. You have to do it. You have to do it now. So it's 2015-2016 school year. Will it be your best? Will you decide to put in the time? Will you decide to allocate your resources differently? And if you do, that wedding 40 years from now when my daughter gets married, you're all invited. Thank you so very much for your time this morning.
My only question afterwards is, can somebody my age register for a class that's on?
Yes.
Well, I guess that'll replace that pot of gold you're I worried a little about. Yeah, maybe you come back up here for a minute, and Dave Wise and Greg Sutherland maybe will join us up here. We have a little token for you, and I think Dave's got that under control. And Greg, Pendleton blankets are crafted and chosen for honored guests based on the message that best fits the individual. I'd like to read the message for this blanket that was chosen for Jeff Charbonneau. It's called an honoring blanket. The gift of a feather is a gift of honor. It is a tribute to the courage of the recipient. Through Native American cultures, feathers represent strength, wisdom, and a connection with the Creator. Feathers were worn by chiefs, and the feathered headdress was the sign of a successful warrior. The central image may represent the sun, and again, the Creator. The feather circle on this blanket represents the courage to overcome in the face of struggle. Whatever the future brings, the feather circle encourages the owner of the blanket to face life with strength and hope. You want to present that to?
Wonderful message, Jeff. Appreciate it. So, it wouldn't be a student convocation without recognition of students. So, a new tradition we have here at Heritage is to recognize during fall convocation the previous semester or spring 2015 Dean's List recipients. So, I'd like to invite all the students that are on the spring 2015 Dean's List to please come forward for a picture with President Bassett, Dr. Guaglianone, and also Dr. Sonoda. So the spring 2015 Dean's List members, please come forward. 2 lines over here, please. This is a category for students at Heritage University that have achieved a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or higher. It varies Dean's List classifications from institution to institution, but this is a threshold we use. The use of the Dean's List is most often found in North America, but it's also used by some universities in the Philippines and also Australia. So, here you have, please still over here. The fact that we have such a large group is a huge testament to our students here at Heritage. So I'm going to gracefully step out of the picture. I'm going to stay in the picture. And why don't we give a nice round of applause for our students.
All right, now the second new tradition at Heritage today is using Fall Student Convocation as the public ceremony to award emeriti status to retired faculty for their hard work and dedication and success as a professor. An emeritus is a retired college professor or minister. When a professor stops teaching, colleagues recognize the important contribution that's been made by that individual and request that this professor be given the title of emeritus, which basically means that he or she is remembered and honored for the wonderful work and the successful role that they engaged in work. It wasn't a day of work, it was an opportunity to serve students and to enjoy their life. Once recommended by colleagues, the board of directors of the university take a vote on each recommendation, and the special designation is given and granted to the retired professor. Today we would like to recognize our recent retirees and thank them for their service to Students First and to Heritage University, our community. Each will receive a beautiful vase with an individualized inscription. I would like to ask Dr. Bassett to please join me as we congratulate these individuals. We would first like to recognize Professor Sonia McDaniel. Sonia McDaniel will receive emeritus status posthumously due to her passing in the spring of 2015. Sonia was a beloved faculty member and professor at Heritage University. She was a colleague and friend to many, and we recognize her with this quote from Charlemagne. And the quote is, "To have another language is to possess a second soul." We asked members of her family who cannot join us today to be with us, but in honor of Sonia and in honor of her family members, please join me in congratulating her for this recognition. Dr. Raymond Bending and Dr. Corian McGuigan are also recognized today and send their gratitude and regret that they cannot join us for this celebration. So please join me in recognizing them in their absence. We do have 4 new emeriti faculty with us. First is Professor Kathy Hardison. Kathy, please join us. The inscription on Kathy's vase states, "True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice," by Martin Luther King. I'd like to invite Professor Carolyn Nelson. Carolyn's vase says, "There is no retirement for an artist. It's your way of living, so there's no end to it," by Henry Morin. I'd like to invite Professor Bertha Ortega. Bertha's vase says, "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all," by Aristotle. invite Professor Pam Root to come forward. And pay attention to what Pam is wearing. Her vase says, "Diversity makes for a rich tapestry. We must understand that all the threads of the tapestry are equal in value, no matter their color. Equal in importance, no matter their texture." By Maya Angelou. So let us see our Americanized. Recognition for a life well lived. Thank you for your service. In closing, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. Mr. Jeff Charbonneau, the president, and I will be in the cafeteria in the Barnhill Fireside Room having lunch. If any of you students are available and come to join us, please join us. We'd love to have you there. In the meantime, thank you for being here. Thank you for a wonderful day of heritage. I'd like to invite Mr. Michael Moore, who will provide the benediction.
Thank you. Please rise. I'm here with your daily recommended dosage of poetry. And this happens to be by Billy Collins, the former U.S. Poet Laureate. My pen moves along the page like the snout of a strange animal, shaped like a human arm, and dressed in the sleeve of a long green sweater. I watch it, sniffing the paper ceaselessly, intent as any forager that has nothing on its mind but the grubs and insects that will allow it to live another day. It wants only to be here tomorrow, dressed perhaps in the sleeve of a plaid shirt, nose pressed against the page, writing a few more dutiful lines, while I gaze out the window and imagine Budapest or some other city which I've never seen. Thank you.
Please remain standing until the procession has left the auditorium.